The story begins with two very beautiful and lovely dolls. A child looks at them and says, "Wow." From behind, his grandfather says, "Ain't they beauties? Your old Gramps and his friends made these Hina dolls. Ain't that amazing? Oh wow. They are so pretty. She is the most beautiful thing in the world." Then the scene shifts, and the child is seen painting the doll's face on a piece of paper. With a little bit of practice, you will be just like your Gramps. Then, as the scene gently shifts, the child sets the pen down beside the paper. His eyes linger on the pen, lost in thought. A moment of silence hangs in the air. Suddenly, a voice echoes from behind. "That is so creepy. Why do you like girls' dolls, Vachan? You are a boy. I hate you, Vachan." And after saying this, she runs past the boy. He almost calls out to her, reaching forward, but no words leave his mouth. His eyes fill with tears as he watches her disappear. In an instant, everything fades. The scene shifts to the present. An alarm rings loudly. The same boy, now grown up, wakes up in his bed. The alarm continues to blare on the bedside table as the camera pans to reveal the room. Slowly, he sits up, his gaze falling on the pen beside him. He sighs and mutters, "Morning." He looks at the pen with a smile spreading across his face and says, "You are still as beautiful as ever." My Dress-Up Darling, Episode 1. Someone who lives in the exact opposite world as me. The camera then shows their house, and the boy walks past the frame. He descends the stairs, yawning, and as he reaches the bottom, he turns to his grandfather and says, "Morning, Grandpa. Morning, Wakana." Then, the boy prays quietly. The camera shifts, and we see him tasting his food. His grandfather looks at him and says, "Wakana, you were working late again last night, weren't you? Are you getting enough sleep?" "Well, I was just on a roll, so I kept going. My brush just would not stop, and I ended up painting a handful of them. Still, I can't get them perfect like you, Gramps. How many years do you think I have been doing this?" Wakana pauses for a moment, then says, "Maybe 47. Grandpa responds, his tone firm, yet gentle, "No, it's 48. Let's eat. Let's eat. Even if you haven't mastered the faces yet. You can make their costumes, and that is plenty impressive. That is all I am good at though. I have still got lots to learn. No need to hurry. Just keep at it. You are still in school." "Yeah." After taking a sip, Grandpa says, "By the way, have you made any friends now that you are in high school?" The moment Grandpa's question, Wakana Gojo flinches, his entire body tensing, as though the words hit him like a sudden shock. "You okay?" "I am fine, wait. Where'd this come from?" "Well, I mean, you spent all your time messing with dolls throughout grade and middle school. I started wondering if you actually had any friends." "Yeah, of course I have friends. Lots of them. I have always had friends. They're all busy with clubs, so our schedules never line up. That is all." "Really? I see. Well, I definitely feel better." I see. That is great." After finishing his breakfast, Gojo looks at his grandfather and says, "I am heading out." "Yup. Be careful." "I will." As Gojo walks along the road, a car zooms past him. The camera shifts, revealing Iwatsuki Station East. Gojo scans his card and enters the station. He stands near the door inside the train, gazing out at the passing scenery. As the train moves, someone behind him speaks, their voices blending in conversation. Man, I hate first period. Seriously. As they continue talking, two girls walk past, moving swiftly through the frame. We are totally gonna get yelled at. Heyo. As Gojo walks, a guy suddenly comes up from behind and places his full weight on Gojo's shoulder, causing him to stumble and lean forward. Gojo quickly straightens up and looks around. The other guy, realizing his mistake, notices that Gojo isn't his friend. With a quick sorry, "My bad," he hurries away in a rush. I thought you were someone else. The camera then shifts, revealing the school. A sea of students is seen walking towards their classrooms, filling the hallways. Sorry, Grumps. I still haven't made a single friend even in high school. How can I anyway? My dream is to be a Kashirashi for Hina dolls. Meaning my hobbies are creating Hina dolls and honing my craft. Appreciating my work. You are as lovely as ever. And talking to said work. And so, I have nothing to talk about with other people. Where should we start today? Gojo, lost in his thoughts, silently speaks to himself when suddenly, the voices of a group of boys talking to each other reach his ears. Did you see episode 6 yesterday of Chiritsu? Dude, it was epic. The animation was godlike. At the tournament the other day, our coach. That voice actor was just. Wait, what? I have no idea what that means. What I like is so different from everyone else. Heyo. Hey, I would just make things super awkward and make everyone feel uneasy around me. Then, the words from the past echo in his mind. After a brief pause, Gojo mutters to himself. It would be better if I just wasn't here. Gojo, still muttering to himself, suddenly hears a voice. A girl's voice calls out, "Whoa, wait. Help." He looks up, and to his shock, he sees a girl floating in the air, slowly descending. She falls straight down, her head hitting the bench with a thud before she collapses to the ground. That hurt. As she falls, a loud scream escapes her, and everyone around turns to look in her direction. All her friends rush to her side, surrounding her in a panic. My bad, Marin. After hitting her head, she slowly gets up, turning around and saying, "Asterisk, I'm fine. Really. Asterisk." At that moment, the camera reveals a female head, who looks at her and says, "Yikes, sorry. Are you okay? You okay? OW." Then, Marin looks at Gojo's hand and gently pats it. Gojo, embarrassed, quickly pulls his hand away and says, "Yeah, I think I'm fine." What's fine exactly, Gojo thinks to himself. Marin looks at him, giving him a brief once over, then says, with a smile, "Really cool, you're free to go," then flashing him a grin. Just then a girl from behind calls out, "Marin, are you okay?" Marin turns and replies, "No, girl. Definitely broke some bones on that landing. Didn't you see? I just made a perfect dive. Oh please, you have got something on you." And then on screen the Gojo is shown with that wound, and he keeps his hand on that to hide and says, "Ink. I had no idea I still had some on me. Man, that startled me." Then Marin is seen walking away in the background. Gojo watches her, his face turning red with blush as he quickly turns his head away. He thinks to himself, "That is the first time I have ever talked to her. Kitagawa-san. She is super cheerful, has a lot of friends, and is always the center of attention. She lives in a completely different world than as me. So after school yesterday, are you really going to bring that up? Wow, you actually got Marin to hang out with you after school. She always runs off somewhere. She had to go to a hair modeling gig, so I went with her. And I wanted a haircut. So it was work." But then this dude totally waited on Marin even though his hair was done ages ago. My dude, just go home. Was he cute though? He was actually pretty hot. He finally came up to us as we were about to leave. I am sure he was just trying to start up a conversation, but hey, is not that thing from some anime? Wow, you are a total nerd. Marin doesn't seem interested at all. Talk about lame. The only
least I'm
thing
not
that
a
is lame
stalker.
here is you. And then she never looked back. Seriously brutal. Ouch. He looked like his soul had left his body. I mean, if the guy was hot, maybe you should have given him a chance. Marin is basically an ice queen whenever anyone tries to hit on her anyway. Like, I care about how hot he was. I just cannot deal with guys like him. I mean, he clearly knew it was something I liked before he opened his mouth. You just do not go making fun of things people clearly like. Right. For sure. Also, how dare he call Shantan that thing? Gojo clenches his hand tightly after hearing the girls talking nearby. Here we go. Her deep love for Shantan. Look, we do not understand when you talk about this stuff either. Right here in this classroom, there is someone who lives in the exact opposite world as me. Sakuya-kun Mirai-chan. Shantan. She lives in a world where she is accepted for who she is. It must be. Then the camera changes after the school lecture ends. Gojo is seen casually placing the chair upside down on the desk with a lazy grin. The other two guys are standing nearby watching him. One of them says, "Really comfortable in that world. For real. You will do it again." "Yeah, sure. You are a lifesaver." Then he says that and runs away from there. The other guy says, "Come on, seriously. You really should do it today." Then the other guy also says sorry and leaves from there. "I will buy you something to drink sometime." The camera shifts to Gojo. Then he looks around at the empty classroom. Honestly, doing this all on my own is pretty rough. This is way better than me failing at conversations and making things awkward. I'm sure they would not know what to talk about with me around. And I would make them uncomfortable if I just stood around quietly. I'm just gonna hurry and finish up so I can go home. Then Gojo is just about to place the chair on the bench when Kitagawa is seen standing at the door. Gojo sees her and says, "It is Kitagawa-san. I wonder if she forgot something." Then Gojo places the chair on the bench and looks at Kitagawa. She also starts placing chairs on the benches. Then Kitagawa looks at Gojo and says, "What? Huh? Nothing. What are you doing? It is pretty obvious, is not it? I am cleaning. I am late cause I had to go to the bathroom, but I am on cleaning duty this week." "Huh? You are actually going to clean?" "Of course I am. Why would not I? Hey, where is everyone else?" "Oh, they went home. I guess they had work." "Seriously? All of them?" "Yes." "Gojo-kun, are they taking advantage of you?" Then Gojo thinks for a moment, raises his head, and says, "I guess so. You guess so. And you are still doing this. You do not mind. I mean, I sort of do." "Of course you would. Did you tell them that?" "No. But they said that I was reliable. So I thought it was okay." "That is not being reliable. They're just using you. You should not agree to things you do not want to do. No, really, you need to think about yourself more. You need to speak up about how you are feeling for your own sake." Then Kitagawa says that and walks away from there. The scene then shifts to the house. Gojo yells OW. Grandpa quickly opens the door. "Hey, what happened? You okay?" "Oh." Gojo looks at Grandpa and says, "Sorry." Then we see a pair of scissors with blood on them. "I cut my finger again." "You gotta be careful. I wonder if we have any bandages left." "You just sit tight. Thanks. It's been days. You need to speak up about how you are feeling for your own sake." But her words are still in my head. Then he was looking to the doll. "Actually, I don't know the actual name of the doll. I think this is called the bisque doll. She saw right through me. I have always suppressed my feelings. Even back then." Huh. Then the Gojo put his feet on pedal to work again and Grandpa arrives with a bandage in his hand. "Here, slap this on there." Gramps, the sewing machine is not working. Well, it is pretty much an antique. It was on its last leg. I guess it's time to buy a new one. Then the camera shift, and now the Gojo is on his bed, looking at his hand and talking to himself. I wish I had gotten to a good stopping point at least. Oh, I know. As the morning light breaks, the camera glides toward a fresh new day, revealing Gojo's school in the distance. Sewing practice room. Then Gojo is seen sewing, and he is really happy. because he was able to use that new machine very easily, and that happiness was clearly visible on his face. Then he stops pedaling the machine and says it is so easy to use. Thank goodness we do not have an arts and crafts club. It is not like anyone's gonna come here after school, so I will not have to hide. Then Gojo looks at the doll and says, "And I can bring you. I will sew your outfit for you today. Just you wait." Then he looks at the doll, a gentle expression forming on his face. A faint smile appears, growing warmer as if a memory just touched his heart. But suddenly, Kitagawa appears. She slides the door open with energy. Gojo looks at her, caught off guard, and says with confusion in his voice. Then, as Gojo says Kitagawa-san and quickly rises from his chair, the doll slips from his hand. It's just about to hit the floor when Gojo, reacting on instinct, leaps forward. He dives to catch it, grabbing the doll midair, and ends up sliding across the floor, bumping into the wall. Holding the doll safely in his hands, he looks at it and says, "I'm so sorry, are you okay? Are you hurt?" And just as Gojo is saying this, he turns to look at Kitagawa, who is staring at him with wide, astonished eyes. Then, taking deep breaths, Kitagawa says, "What the hell? It is all over." When Gojo starts to feel disheartened, everything suddenly changes. The mood shifts, emotions turn, and Kitagawa, bursting with energy, says, "That is so awesome. You know how to use a sewing machine, Gojo-kun." "Huh, the sewing machine. How do you know how to use one? We do not have home EC as an elective." My family runs a Hina doll shop. So, I learned how to use one as a kid. Oh, that is why, no wonder. Hey, is that a Hina doll? Let me see. Then Gojo gently extends the Hina doll toward Kitagawa, and she steps closer, her eyes lighting up as she takes a closer look. "Here you go. Look at this hottie." Her eyes are sparkling. This is the first time. This is the first time someone's complimented. The first time someone complimented something I love. "Did you make this Hina doll, Gojo-kun?" No, I did not. My Gramps made her. I still only know how to make their clothes." "You can make clothes." Then the Gojo thinks for a second and says, Yes. For real. Yes, I mean, I just sew them together, so it is not a big deal." As soon as she hears it, Mirai's face lights up with joy. A soft warmth spreads across her expression, a contrast to the stillness in the air. Without hesitation, she begins to take off her sweater, her movements gentle but deliberate. Gojo watches, momentarily frozen. His face turns red. Then Kitagawa stands up and begins to take off her clothes. Noticing Gojo watching her, she pauses for a moment and says, "Hey, could you look the other way?" "Yes, ma'am." Respecting Kitagawa's words, Gojo turns away. As Kitagawa starts undressing, the camera shifts back to Gojo. He shivers slightly and thinks to himself, "What is going on? What is happening? Why is she undressing? Wait, why do I hear a rustling sound? What is this sound?" Then Kitagawa calls out from behind, "Hey, Gojo-kun." Gojo replies, "Yes, ma'am." The camera then shows Kitagawa's clothes lying scattered on the floor. "How can I help you?" "Look at me." "But it is okay, just look. I am still not done with it. It is totally not done yet. What do you think?" What do you mean? What exactly are you wearing?" "Well," then Kitagawa shyly hands Gojo her phone, showing him an image as a reference. "I'm trying to make that outfit, so yeah. At least I am trying to." "You are joking, right?" I am totally serious. I worked really hard on this. But, I mean, it does not look like this at all. No one could suck this bad even if they tried." That material needs a lining, does not it?" "Lining what? You do not even know that. Unbelievable. Please excuse me. I knew it. You have not done any of the reverse stitching. And it is wrinkled. And there is no bobbin thread. You can hardly even call this sewing. I bet you forgot your seam allowance too. Oh, come on. Why did you change the tension dial here?" And after Gojo points out so many flaws, Kitagawa becomes a bit sad, making a face like she's about to cry. Gojo notices her and kneels down beside her, beginning to apologize sincerely. I'm so sorry I went way too far. Please just kill me now. Wait, what? What are you even doing? Quit it. How much should I pay you? Nothing. I do not want any. I am not mad. Not even a little. Gojo is trembling, sweat dripping down his face. But seriously, Gojo-kun, could you look up? You see. She dashes past Gojo, her footsteps light but full of intent. The camera follows in a smooth pan as she stops at the window, sunlight pouring in behind her, casting a soft glow around her silhouette. With her back to the light, she turns her head slightly, eyes fierce with determination, and says to him with unwavering confidence, I made this because I wanted to cosplay. Cosplay. Yup, cosplay. I want to wear the same things as manga, anime, and game characters. Cosplaying allows you to express just how much you love your faves. Is not that awesome? It is basically the ultimate form of love. And as Kitagawa turns around, her short dress lifts just slightly, revealing her undergarments to Gojo. His eyes widen, and his face instantly flushes with awkwardness. Are you listening, Gojo-kun? Yes, Sorry, I am absolutely listening. I am sorry. And I don't have a sewing machine at home, so I was working on this here after school. But well, as you can see, it's not in the best shape. And I don't know anyone who's good at sewing. Then she walks up to Gojo, gently takes his hand, and looks into his eyes. With an innocent expression on her face, she softly says to him, Gojo-kun, will you make me a cosplay outfit? Huh, if you can't, you can just tell me you can't. You see, I can't do much more on my own. But Shijuku-tan means so much to me. She means so much to me, so I want to become her no matter what. As Kitagawa speaks through her tears, the world around Gojo fades. Time slows. He slips into a quiet flashback. The moment they met, glowing like a distant light in his mind. Please, Gojo-kun. That's so awesome. You know how to use a sewing machine, Gojo-kun. Look at this hottie. You just don't go making fun of things people clearly like. You need to speak up about how you are feeling for your own sake. Then the camera focuses on Gojo. He firmly holds Kitagawa's hand. The frame shifts to Kitagawa, her eyes still glistening with tears. Gojo softly says, All right. Kitagawa slowly opens her eyes, a spark returning to them. Then she looks up at Gojo, her eyes meeting his with a quiet mix of surprise and warmth. I've never made clothes for an actual person before, so I am not sure how well it'll go. But I'll do everything I can. You mean, you'll do it? Yes. For real? Yes. Gojo nods softly, and suddenly Kitagawa bursts into joyful leaps of laughter, filling the air as she repeats over and over, yes, 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 her voice bright and full of happiness. She cheers, Ye Shijuku-tan, Shijuku-tan. The camera pulls back to capture her radiant smile and boundless energy. Now I can be Shijuku-tan. Right here in this classroom. There's someone who lives in the exact opposite world as me. I never thought I'd make a promise like this with someone like that. I'm seriously crying right now. Oh, but I'll do everything I can. Not that I can do much. Sure, I guess you really want to be this person. Yup, I mean she's just too precious for words. Shijuku Kuroe-tan from Saint Slippery's Academy for Girls. The young ladies of the Humiliation Club debauched Miracle Life. Then after hearing all this, Gojo says, what now? The episode 1, someone who lives in the exact opposite world as me, comes to an end here. The next episode is titled, Do You Want to Hurry Up and Do It? Stay tuned and see you next time.